Hello and welcome to episode 37
Yep.
of the franchise. I'm your host, Daniel Ehrenberg.
I am your co-host, Plutarch Heavensby. I'm sorry, Henry Papali.
There has to be like a name generator on the internet, right?
Oh,
we can
my
find out
God.
our Hunger Games names.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
It's my first note.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Today we're going hungry. It's the Hunger Games and the Hunger Games Catching Fire.
Yeah.
These are a couple big hits from just a couple years back. These are the most new movies we've covered.
Besides Batman vs. Superman, yes.
It's Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Oh, right, I forgot.
Yeah. You ready? You want to jump right in?
I guess so. We might as well.
Use your fucking joke.
Let the games begin.
Thank you. You said that before recording, like an idiot. And okay,
May the odds always be in your favor.
Good one. Yeah, we could use so many ridiculous jokes like
God.
that. We'll get into the movies in just a moment. Let's do the stats.
Yep.
Hunger Games, first one. No fun title for this one.
No.
Directed by Gary Ross, his only entry in the series, and co-written by novel writer Suzanne Collins and Billy Ray, not Cyrus. Now, Billy Ray is one of these guys I love talking about on the podcast because
I have his page up here. That was the page I was telling you about. Yeah,
he was the hot shit in the 90s. He was one of these guys that kept selling like $1 million screenplays and never getting them made.
Oh, I didn't know that. See,
Yeah.
I got most of my stuff from his work in the 2000s in the aughts.
Yeah, well, that's when he started getting shit made.
Yeah,
But
okay.
he was writing a lot of big-time movies in the 90s. And, we talked about that fella who has a credit on, what was it, like Alien Predator Requiem or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember the guy's name.
Yeah, and this guy is just like that.
Okay.
But he's gotten some stuff now. His first big screenplay was obviously the Bruce Willis nightmare, Color of Night.
Color of Nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also created the horrible 90s sci-fi series Earth 2.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right. And ever since then, he's been mostly doing like for hire stuff. You want to talk about this guy?
Well, I mean, all I can talk about is his credits, and I mean, he is the writer of Volcano.
Yeah, good movie.
Okay.
The Coast is Toast.
I didn't. I didn't expect you to say good movie.
Yeah, that's right.
Heart's War.
Volcano. What's the better Volcano movie from 1997?
Right.
That's I mean Dante's Peak has its moments.
I'm gonna go with Dante's Peak.
Dante's Peak is probably a better movie, but we're talking about Volcano movies. Volcano is definitely more fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tommy Lee.
Dante's Peak like messes
You got
with
Anne
science.
Heche running around, right?
Yeah, but Dante's Peak has Linda Hamilton.
Yeah, that is a good point. It's
what happened to
Sarah
her.
Connor and James Bond floating around that movie. And an old lady does get burned alive. That's a great scene.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah. Oh, that's all I remember.
Oh, that's great.
When I picture Dante's Peak, all I picture is this old lady burned to death.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
And when I picture Volcano, I picture the trailer because I remember this. It was, it said like, there are this many active volcanoes underneath Los Angeles. And the letters L.A. popped up on the screen. And then they filled in the word, and L.A. became Volcano.
Oh.
Yeah.
Creative.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yep.
Very nice.
You saw that trailer in front of like Independence Day or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think it might have been on my Independence Day VHS.
Oh,
How about
okay.
that? Yeah.
There you go.
All right, let's talk more about this Billy Ray fellow.
Well, I looking at his credits, I see 5 movies that I really liked.
I'm looking now. Let me see if I can match you.
5.
I see 4. And
All
one of them's Volcano.
Oh, that's not
No,
one of
maybe
mine.
I could do 5. No, he's got some good ones in the 2000s.
Go ahead, see if you guess what I think are my favorite 5 Billy
What
Ray.
you think?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I know we both enjoyed Captain Phillips.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm the captain now. Spoilers for this episode. We both enjoy the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, based on your affection for Jodie Foster, you enjoyed Flight Plan.
Very much.
Okay. Wait, how many's that? 3?
Actually, then there's 6. There's 6.
Oh,
sorry.
okay. So I have 3 more.
Yes.
I kind of liked the American remake of State of Play.
Me too.
Okay. I bet you liked Breach.
I sure did.
Okay. Oh, I'm fucking nailing this, by the way.
You got 1 to go, which should be pretty obvious.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, it's the most, on this list, it's absolutely the most critically acclaimed next to Captain Phillips.
What, Shattered Glass?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, don't break my glass, my achy breaky glass. Billy Ray.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like Captain Phillips was far more acclaimed than...
No, you're probably right, but Shattered Glass I thought was an excellent film, and I remember it being pretty acclaimed at the time.
You're a Bruce guy. I thought you might be going with Heart's War.
No.
All right.
Yeah. I'm a Bruce guy. There's a lot of Bruce there. I don't know if I'd even say I'm a Bruce guy.
You're definitely a Bruce guy. Here's how you know if you're a Bruce guy.
Tell me.
Have you ever eaten in a Planet Hollywood?
Have I ever eaten in a Planet Hollywood?
Yeah, that's
well,
right.
Since I have to think about it, I don't. You know what? I don't think I have.
Oh, really? I have.
I'm a Hard Rock Cafe guy.
Oh, Hard Rock Cafe.
Yeah, because I could tell you I've been to several of those throughout the country, but I don't think I've ever... I mean, I've stepped foot in a Planet Hollywood, but maybe had a drink, but I don't think I ever ate at a Planet Hollywood.
I ate at a Planet Hollywood when I was 16. I went into the city to see Bring in the Noise, Bring in the Funk. And it's a true story. But I ate at a Planet Hollywood and bought some CDs at Virgin Megastore. The only time I went to a Hard Rock Cafe was the one in Baltimore, and it was just because it was near the aquarium.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's fair.
All right, so that's Billy Ray. He's had an okay career after a rough start.
Yeah.
And that brings us to Gary Ross, the director. I mean, do you want me to do the rest of the stats, or do you want to hop in there?
I like where you're going. Might as well get Gary Ross out of the way.
Let's get him out of the way. So he gets hired to direct the Hunger Games. I don't know. I feel like after this one, he wanted like both a raise and more time to make the second one, and the studio was like, "Fuck that! We're cranking out one a year."
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Because Gary Ross is a director that takes his time. You look at his filmography, he's been working for like 25 years. He's only made 5 movies.
I know. I'm looking at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I liked 3 of his movies. Yeah.
I mean, I gotta be honest with you. I don't like 3 of his movies. I
yeah.
really like The Hunger Games. And I think that's maybe his he's got 2 good movies.
Seabiscuit?
No, I don't like Seabiscuit.
I like Seabiscuit. See, I know you're going to say Pleasantville, which I didn't care for.
Yeah, I am going to say Pleasantville.
Yeah. I liked Free State of Jones very
No
much.
one liked Free State of Jones.
I did. Yeah. I really liked it.
People are charting that movie at the end of the reconnaissance.
Yeah.
Reconnaissance is over because of Free State of Jones.
Well, I liked
That
it.
weird Gus Van Sant suicide movie, and now Gold.
Oh, boy.
Because
Yeah.
all 3 of these bad boys no one gives a shit about.
That's true. But Gary Ross is coming up. We'll see what happens with Ocean's 8.
Yeah, he's dipping his toe back into the franchise pool.
Yeah.
Ocean's 8, the Lady Oceans movie. Matt Damon, he's gonna be the only man in it, and I got to assume it's to gain back some liberal cred after he talked shit about that weird line producer on Project Greenlight.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, Effie.
yeah.
What's her name?
Oh, God, I don't know.
Was it Effie something?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, and he gave that whole, questionable speech. Like it's the best person for the job.
Right,
it doesn't
right.
matter the race. Yeah.
Right. Took a lot of heat for that.
He lost some liberal cred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly really didn't care. I mean, I thought it was kind of innocuous.
Well, you're a cis white male.
You're right.
Yeah.
And I'm not a liberal, so.
Well, you are a liberal.
That's a joke. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anything else about Gary Ross?
Not really. I thought I'd have more to say, but not really.
Well, I have some advice. I have some advice for him.
He's kind of what you would term. You've used this term a lot. Isn't he kind of more like a utilitarian director? I mean,
no, I don't.
He
think
may not
so.
think he may not think he is, but I kind of think of that. Like
I
can't
think
look
he
at a
is.
movie and go, "That's a Gary Ross film."
No, I can't, but I feel like that's only because he's made so few movies. Like, my advice to Gary Ross is get off your ass, you lazy piece of shit. Like, make some fucking movies here.
Yeah.
What, he's after Seabiscuit? Like, that was so great you couldn't make another movie for like 8 years? Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, but I do think he has a style, and I think that's evidenced in The Hunger Games because the first Hunger Games movie looks different than the other ones.
It sure does.
Yeah.
Not in a good way, in my opinion.
Ooh, interesting. I'm of two minds about this. We'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
But it does look like a Gary Ross picture.
All right.
Now, the first Hunger Games, it was released March 23rd, 2012, amid some fanfare. They got Jennifer Lawrence fresh off the boat from the X-Men franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And she had also already been nominated for Winter's Bone at this point.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's a Lionsgate picture. They're not a big company.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, The Hunger Games was their most expensive film at $78 million.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. But future Hunger Games movies would get higher budgets because the box office, $694.4 million.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's not surprising. Yeah. I mean, I saw it in the theater. I had a free pass.
I didn't see it in the theater.
I wouldn't have. I had a free pass. A friend of mine had two free passes, so we went to see it in Times Square. And I figured, what the hell?
Times Square?
Yeah, I don't remember why exactly, but we went to the AMC in Times Square.
All right, so you got to the movie theater, you walked up 9 escalators, and then you got to see The Hunger Games. Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, it's an endeavor to go to a movie at that.
It's an endeavor to go see anything in the theaters in New York City, especially. You're constantly just walking up escalators.
Yeah, but that one is like the one with that. I mean,
you go down 2 escalators to go to the bathroom. God forbid you want popcorn in that place.
Yeah, there's like secret elevators that you don't understand where they lead. There's an outdoor deck.
There is an outdoor deck.
Yeah. It's kind of cool, but and then it's also like in a complex that's connected to like an Applebee's, right? It's if my memory serves me correct.
Yeah. So when you're leaving the theater,
and a Dave and Buster's.
There's an entrance to the Applebee's right in the theater, and so it's like come on over. You hungry? You hungry? You don't even have to leave the theater. Come eat some Applebee's.
We got your Hunger Games right here.
And FYI, they've gotten me that way before.
Me too.
Yep. I've eaten at that Applebee's more than once. That's the Applebee's I ate bones at by accident.
Okay.
Yeah, one time it was after a concert.
Please share a cuisine story.
Yep, I ordered the riblets. I didn't know what those were. I just thought they were like boneless buffalo wings, but ribs, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm eating these ribs like they're candy. And what I didn't realize, and what I realized when I was on my second to last riblet, was there are these little plates of bone inside that you're supposed to eat around. But I was hungry, and I was eating right through these bones.
Oh, my God.
Swallowing them. It was not a good night.
Wow, man.
Yep.
Jeez.
I ground those bones to dust right in my stomach.
You survived that, though. That's impressive.
Thank you.
Wow.
I survive a lot. I'm like
Yes, you
Boston
do.
Rob that way.
You're a survivor.
Yeah. I'm a real Richard Hatch.
Yeah.
Hey, Richard Hatch just died. Not the survivor
Really?
guy. No.
Oh. Who would this be?
You know, the guy, he was like the lead in the original Battlestar Galactica, Richard Hatch. He was an actor.
I don't
He
know.
he just passed away.
Okay.
Hunger Games. Hey, it was number 3 in box office for the year. I don't think we've done 2012 yet, have we?
No, I don't think we have either.
All right.
I don't think.
If we have,
But,
I've forgotten about it. So let's
Me
do it
too.
again. I have the top 5 here. All 5 franchise movies. We are in the era of the franchise here, man.
Oh boy,
Big time.
2012. All
yeah,
right.
can you name all of them?
Probably not a one. I'm trying to think. Oh well, wait. 2012, Dark Knight Rises.
That's number 2. And you got Hunger Games at 3, so you have 3 more. Let's do this. You
All
can
right,
do it.
2012. There was a Marvel movie that year, but it wasn't the Avengers. 'Cause
Yes,
that
it was. That's
I thought that
number
was 2011.
1.
You're right. Yeah, of course. Okay, yeah, that was 2012. Captain America was 2011. All right. So 2 superhero movies, The Hunger Games. I don't know what, a Pixar movie.
No animated this time.
right, give
I
me
will tell
some.
you, it's a New Line franchise and an MGM franchise.
Skyfall.
That is correct. Number 4.
Love it. Great movie.
That's okay.
So unfair. All right, I did pretty good so far. But I don't know. Give me
Pretty
another
well. Pretty well.
Oh, thank you, my linguist co-host.
Number 5. It's got an unwieldy title. I can't even remember the whole thing. Let's see if you can do this. Can you name all 3 Hobbit movies?
Oh man.
I can't. What's the first one?
No.
The Hobbit, over the bridge and far away, to grandmother's house we go. Or
I
something.
have no idea. I only remember the desolation of
Smaug. Yeah, that's the
yeah.
one I remember too, because that one is hilariously bad.
Right. It's a great title. But that's not the one, right? That's not
The
2012.
Desolation of Smaug. That sounds like something like a 13-year-old girl would write, like when she's like, you know, she's like listening to some Bright Eyes and writing about the desolation of Smaug.
Is that the first Hobbit movie or no?
That's the second one. The first one, I think I got it. Is it The Unexpected Journey?
Sounds close. Some kind of journey.
Oh, I guess I have to look this up.
I'm not a fan, so
No, who could possibly care?
well, lots of people.
Hey,
but
An
not me.
Unexpected Journey. I nailed it.
Oh, well done.
64% fresh. Okay.
So none of those 5 movies are a surprise. Those are all, massive hits, and
Yeah, and I would say the top 3 are very good.
I would say the top 4 are excellent.
Yeah. How about I looked up to see whether Hunger Games was nominated for Oscars.
Oh, yeah.
It was not. And
Not a one, huh?
not a one. And I got to tell you, where is the Hunger Games Oscar nominations for makeup and hairstyling?
Oh Lord.
No, I'm being totally serious.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you mean.
I mean, Elizabeth Banks looks unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, literally unbelievable. I
was
can't
just going to
believe
say,
what I'm looking at.
in every connotation of that word, yes, literally unbelievable. Yeah.
It's insane.
Or your boy Stanley Tucci.
Yeah, the Tooch, he's got some tanner on. I love him. Why did you call him my boy?
That was no reason at all.
Oh, okay.
Actually.
I thought you knew of my love for Big Night.
Oh, I love that too.
Yeah.
But no, I know. I love that Tucci.
Yeah, don't see Big Night at the AMC in Times Square. You'll definitely be eating at that Applebee's afterwards. That movie gets you hungry.
Yeah.
Now, it was nominated for a Golden Globe, I'll say that, The Hunger Games.
For what?
Best Original Song.
Oh. All right.
Yep, Safe and Sound. We're not talking about the Capital Cities hit from a year later.
And we're not talking about the Sheryl Crow song.
She has a song called Safe and Sound?
Yeah, I actually really, really like it.
What are you talking about? How do you know Sheryl Crow deep cuts?
Because I was, a teenager in the 90s.
But that's a deep cut. What was that, like an album track on
No,
Tuesday Night
it-
Music Club?
No, it's an album track on that one with that terrible song she did, the Wanna Soak Up the Sun.
Oh God! You were still listening to Sheryl Crow
No,
when she did "Soak
no,
Up the
I'll-
Sun"?
no,
that's
I'll
not
tell you-
that's not '90s.
You're right. I'll tell you how I know the song. It's because it's movie related. It was in the end credits of a very mediocre film with Kevin Spacey called K-Pax.
Yeah, I had that on VHS.
Yeah.
Uh,
And at the end of the movie, they play a song called "Safe and Sound," and it's by Sheryl Crow, and it's actually a very beautiful song. I really like it. And but then I learned later that it was not like written for that movie. It's from that. What is that album even called?
The one with "Soak Up the Sun."
Yeah.
I don't remember. It was a poor attempt at a summer album.
Right. Right.
I didn't care for it, even as a man of summer.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I can listen to 2 Sheryl Crow songs in 2017.
Uh-huh.
I think if it makes you happy, still pretty good.
I agree.
And I like that one. Are you strong enough to be my man?
Yeah, I don't like that one.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I'll take "Every Day's a Winding Road" over that.
Oh, that sucks. Every day is a winding road.
I'm not a fan of it. I would take it over the one you said.
Crow.
You like her? How about her duet with Kid Rock? You
No,
like that
thank you. Oh God, she's a poor man's Alanis. Let's be honest.
one? Ooh, shots fired. As
Shots
you would say.
fired. Yeah, she's got that bad mole by her mouth. I just saw her on an episode of One Tree Hill. I was watching a first
Really?
season episode of One Tree Hill, and she popped up.
Huh.
Yeah,
All right.
she performed her cover of "The First Cut Is the Deepest"
Oh, yeah, it's another bad song.
by Rod Stewart.
Oof.
Yeah,
Ooh.
come on, you gotta like Rod.
Oh.
What do you mean?
Top 10 most hated artists.
Whoa, hang on. Now, here's your thing. You like the Cream, but not Clapton.
Okay.
Well, I like the Faces.
I'm not a fan.
Oh, but he's written some good songs. You don't like Maggie May?
No, I don't. No.
I mean, I can understand he became a joke with, do you think I'm sexy and stuff.
I don't like anything about him. I don't like his voice. I don't like his songs. It's just, I'm not a fan. He's just one of those guys, falls into that, like, Bryan Adams category.
Oh, that's harsh. You're just saying that because of that Robin Hood Prince of Thieves song he did.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's also got your boy Sting, right?
Oh, fucking Sting. Sting's way worse than Rod Stewart.
No way.
Yeah.
Disagree.
I'll take
Full-
Rod over Sting any day of the week.
You'll take Rod Stewart over the Police?
Yes.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, mate.
At least Rod
Oh.
Stewart, he's writing songs. You got Sting pretending he's like black. I don't know. It's the titles
I don't even
of
know
those.
what that
The
means.
titles of those Sting albums are worse than the titles of the Hobbit movies.
Oh, boy. All right.
Yep. All right.
All right, let's
Let's get on track.
let's recenter our GPS here for a second. Yeah.
You want to do the premise of the Hunger
No,
Games?
you do the premise.
All right.
It's your turn. I did Lethal Weapon. It's your turn.
Now, it takes place in a dystopian future. This is supposed to be Earth, right?
I believe so.
I can't even tell sometimes.
Neither can I.
To me, I have a confusing time placing the events of the Hunger Games.
I stopped trying.
Yeah, because it's got the 12 districts. I don't know where these places are. One of them seems to have exclusively black people. So what is this, Africa? Is like District
I don't know.
9 or whatever?
I agree. And then I was trying to like do stupid math. Like I was like 74th Hunger, and then I was like 74 years. So then that means, and then I was like, oh fuck it.
I did that the first time I watched.
Yeah, it's probably in the year, one of those like Jason X. It's like in the year 3000. Who the fuck knows?
It's in the year
nothing.
3000.
Nice.
I have trouble with it the same way I have trouble with Battlestar Galactica, where they're it's on the colonies, they call it, Caprica and whatever, Geminon. And because that movie, that show, that was one of the mysteries. Ultimately, you find out when it took place. But I don't think The Hunger Games has any interest whatsoever.
No.
Now, I saw The Hunger Games. Have you read the books, Henry?
Obviously not.
Well, I don't know that. Sometimes you read books in anticipation of movies.
That is true, but it's pretty rare that I'll read a fiction book in anticipation of a movie. It is true that I occasionally will do that, but I don't read this kind of stuff, and that's not to denigrate it. I know there's but I just am not into that. Yeah. Did you read them?
I've never read them, and I do read this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So basically, the reason I haven't read them is I intended to read them before seeing the movies, and I didn't get around to it. And then I saw the first Hunger Games movie, and I loved it. And I had a hard experience with those Harry Potter movies.
Oh. Okay.
And I think the reason was I liked the book so much.
Sure.
And so, sort of as an experiment, I decided I was going to see all the Hunger Games movies and then read the books.
Okay.
Of course, once I saw all the Hunger Games movies, I'd lost interest and I didn't read the books. But that was the idea anyway.
Yeah,
and so I loved the first one without having read the books. And I understand some other people might be more critical because I was with Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But,
well, that's an entire discussion that you and me have had privately, but I don't know if we've ever talked about it on air, but sometime we can come to that. The whole, is the book better than the movie, or should it be, or it's a different art form, or all that kind of thing, So.
Well, I do believe it's a different art form, and I try to treat them completely separately. I don't believe in comparing a movie to a book, which is why my favorite Harry Potter movie is Prisoner of Azkaban, which is the one that's least like the book it's based on, by Alfonso Cuarón.
That's the only one I ever saw in theaters.
Oh, really? I saw them all in theaters. How about that?
Sure you did.
8 of them. And the HGs, though, I can't really make that comparison. So let's just get right into the movie.
Go ahead. Start the plot.
Oh, I haven't done that yet?
No, but we said we were going to do it, and then you didn't.
All right. Well, they're in the districts. It's the future, possibly, and it's
no, it's the past. That'd be funny if it was.
That's the Battlestar reveal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It takes place BC.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Battlestar. I mean, spoilers for Battlestar, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, you find out that like in escaping the Cylons, this colony of humans from like another part of the solar system found the uninhabited Earth and colonized it, and that was the beginning of human life on Earth.
Look at that.
Yeah. That's really good. You should watch that show. Yeah, I think you'd legit like that show.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Hunger Games, I mean, what is it? Every year they do a Hunger Games. It's run by the Capitol. Donald Sutherland's president of the galaxy. And fucking, they pick a man and woman, or a boy and girl, really, because they're teens, from every district, and they fight, and someone wins.
Because of 75 years prior, there was some rebellion, and so as punishment, they do this as like a tribute, right?
Yeah, they volunteer as tribute.
Very long punishment, 75 years to be punishing.
Every 25 years, they do a quarter quell. I don't know what that means, but they talk about it.
Yeah.
I
have to file for my quarter quell this year. I forgot about that.
So the Hungry Games happen, and there's a winner, and kids killing themselves, killing each other. I love it. It's battle royale, but
right.
with higher stakes. It's cool.
Yeah.
And but then you're opening on this movie, and you're like, wait, what's going on here? I thought I was going to see a big movie, and here's Wes Bentley and Stanley Tucci yapping. That's right. It's Hollywood. Bentley. Hollywood also ran Wes Bentleys in this movie.
I remember when I saw American Beauty, and
you thought he was going to be the hot shit, right?
Oh yeah,
me too.
Oh, this guy's going to be And then
I was waiting for him.
Then he did The Claim, which I never saw.
I remember I saw The Four Feathers in theaters because I was like, oh, it's the new Wes Bentley movie.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of that might be just a bad agent or something. I mean, I feel like this is a guy who probably...
No, he had drug and alcohol problems.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that because I feel like... And I have no knowledge of this, but I feel like he could have been one of those guys who was probably considered for stuff like Batman, and you know what I mean? Am I wrong?
No, you're probably right. He could have done, he in the 2000s when charismaless people who's that guy in Stealth? Josh Lucas. He could have gotten those roles. Right?
Yeah, sure.
Even if he wanted to do TV, you're telling me Wes Bentley couldn't have been on I don't know, he could have been David Boreanaz or something.
Yeah, he could have been in Bones.
He could have been in Bones.
Yeah,
but he had a rough career. Bones, by the way, only a few episodes left, so if you're not watching yet, you missed your chance.
Okay.
Hey, gang, this is my only chance I'll have to say this on the podcast. I've watched every episode of Bones. That's right, over 200 episodes of Bones over the last 12 years. Yep.
Wow.
How about that? I didn't have time to read the Hunger Games books, but I had time to watch over 200 hours of Bones.
Jesus Christ. Wow, man, I didn't know that you were into that show.
What are you talking about? I used to watch it when we lived together.
I don't remember. You watch so much stuff, man. I can't keep track. I don't remember that ever coming up on the radar conversation.
Okay. So then after Wes Bentley and Stanley Tucci, you get introduced to human charisma vacuum, Liam Hemsworth, the worst of the Hemsworths. He's covered in dirt in this movie, and he's dull as that. He's yapping in that bad American accent, or District 12 accent, I should say.
Yeah,
and
right.
I mean, how did one Hemsworth get all of the talent in this family?
I don't know.
Because I like that Chris fella.
So do I.
Yeah.
Not just as Thor. He's good in that, what's that race car movie?
Yup, I am a fan of Ron Howard's Rush.
Rush, yeah, and he was sort of funny on Saturday Night Live. I mean, he
was all right.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean? I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I mean,
sure.
He's better than you'd think a Chris Hemsworth would be.
But this Liam Hemsworth, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, is he only in these movies to make Josh Hutcherson look charismatic?
Well, that takes some talent.
Yeah, it does.
He's not my LVP, I'll tell you that.
He might be mine. I have to think about it.
No, I got a great one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Liam, I saw him in that Independence Day resurgence, buddy. We got to cover those for the podcast. How about this? Let's flag it up right now.
Okay.
Last week of June and first week in July, we'll do Jaws and Independence Day.
Sounds good to me.
We're doing it, right? Yep.
Yep.
That's a good plan.
Yeah.
All right, the HGs. It doesn't only have terrible actors in it. By the way, I skip right by Stanley Tucci, who I think is great in these movies.
Yeah. I
No?
don't know. I mean,
I
love
think he
Stanley.
toes the line, but I think it's more Joe Pesci in Lethal Weapon 2 and less Joe Pesci in Lethal Weapon 3.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
By the way, I've been keeping an eye on that Lethal Weapon TV show.
Mm-hmm.
They had an episode last week. I guess it must have introduced Leo Getz to the TV universe.
Uh-oh.
Because it was called As Good As It Gets with a Z, you know? How about that? Yep.
Greg Kinnear was in that too.
Good one. Yeah. Wait.
We meet all these characters with these dumb fucking names.
Yeah, Plutarch Bureaucracy or something.
Katniss Everdeen.
I'm okay with that name. I think Katniss Everdeen's a pretty good name for a lead in a sci-fi franchise.
No, it's cool, but I'm just saying, like, Suzanne Collins, you know, I don't know. I mean, it's one thing when, like, what's her name? J.K. Rowling?
Yeah.
She goes, you know, to a lot of Greek mythology and all that kind of stuff and pulls things out of but this one is just, it looks like you said, I think earlier, like some kind of word generator. I don't know what she's trying to be so original with these names when you really could have these characters named like Mike.
Yeah, I know. Well, it should be. The most normal one is Liam Hemsworth is Gale.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you could really just, there's no need for it. A couple of times, I mean, I think my first note on the movie was Katniss, Prim, stupid fucking names. And I liked the movie, but that was my first note. Yeah, because it was like distracting. I didn't remember it being distracting before, but like...
Yeah, say what you will about J.K. Rowling. One of her main characters' names was Ron.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ron Stewart. Okay. Oh! I think I might know where you're going with your LVP. Because I have it too. Because here's my problem with the cast of this movie. It really, because like, we dispatched with Liam Hemsworth pretty early, thank God.
Yeah.
And then we're dealing with pretty good actors. You got, Jennifer Lawrence, just the height of her game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's impossible not to love Jennifer Lawrence in The Hunger Games. If you don't, I don't even know what to do with you.
But she's not my MVP. Yet.
Okay. You got Elizabeth Banks hanging around.
Mm-hmm.
Charming. Interesting performance.
Yeah.
You got Donald Sutherland. Always good. Joss Whedon says he's an asshole, but he's still a good actor.
I completely believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes total sense. But he is great. Yeah.
He's great.
You got your Woody Harrelson.
You got your Woody Harrelson in the midst of the underreported Woodissance. Between this, Rampart, and True Detective.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Rampart.
Sure.
Movie didn't get anything.
No.
Yeah, great.
I love Woody Harrelson. I love Woody Harrelson.
So do I. Yeah.
What's your favorite Woody Harrelson performance? Go.
Oh, jeez, man. Off the top of my head?
Go!
True Detective. I don't know. People versus Larry Flint.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Rampart. I love that.
Yep.
I love The Messenger. He's great in that.
Sure.
You name it, man. I don't know. Off the top of my head, True Detective comes to mind because he's just really phenomenal in that. But what about you?
It'll always.
Cheers?
No, White Men Can't Jump.
Oh yeah. Well, that was his breakthrough. Yeah, breakthrough.
Well, Cheers was his breakthrough, but White Men Can't Jump was his theatrical.
On the big screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love White Men Can't Jump so much.
Do I. So do I.
And then so you get through all these good actors, and then you're like, hold the phone here. Is that Lenny Kravitz?
Are you going to go my way with the LPP?
He's not even a bad actor. He's just Lenny Kravitz floating around this movie.
Did you get my joke there?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, you know.
All right.
Are you gonna go my way from his seminal 1992 album?
Not every joke needs to be acknowledged.
No.
No.
Kravitz, we talked about him a little bit. It's franchise crossover because you'll recall that he recorded that American Woman cover for Austin Powers' The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Right, before it flew away.
Ugh. But he's here. He plays like Katniss's stylist.
Yeah.
I mean, no one ever needed this character.
Nope. No.
Yeah, so Kravitz sucks. I guess he's my LVP.
He really sucks.
Yeah. He sucks.
He sucks. I mean, come on. And you're right when you're kind of watching the movie, and it's kind of like a screeching halt, and you have to like stop and go, wait, what? It's 2012 and Lenny Kravitz is in a movie, and it's he's playing a style, like everything about it is just bizarre.
Yeah, they should have his stylist be Zoe Kravitz, frankly.
There you go.
Yeah,
she was in an X-Men film.
She was. She played Angel in X-Men First Class.
Yeah.
And she's got that X-Men First ass. No, God, that's a horrible thing to say. Listen, Kravitz, get out of this movie. No, they should have made it Lisa Bonet, if anything.
There you go.
Where's Lisa Bonet?
I don't know. High Fidelity, right? Last time.
I know, but get her in movies. I love Lisa Bonet.
Me too. I agree.
The best of the Cosby Kids. That's not a joke. Don't laugh at that.
Well, I don't even know the other ones did anything. I mean, she's the only one.
Hey, Malcolm Jamal Warner's still working.
Is he really?
Absolutely. I see him pop up and stuff all the time, and he's grown up into a pretty good actor. But
and I forgot about Raven, right?
Oh yeah, that's so Raven. She's around, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
What about you don't see Rudy anymore? I guess not.
I don't know.
I don't even like to think about the Cosby Kids anymore.
Why?
Because it makes me nervous.
Right.
I don't know what was happening on the set of that show anymore. Is that why we don't see Lisa Bonet anymore? She was traumatized?
Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, I know. Yeah, let's move back. Let's pivot. Yeah. So, what do you think of the look of the movie and like the way the action is choreographed? I don't particularly feel that the action is done as well as I remembered it.
He's not paying too much attention to the action choreography. Yeah. I would say Gary Ross is into the look of this movie, and he wants it to look raw and cinema verite. And so he's using handheld cameras all over this thing. And that's the big difference between the first one and the rest of the movies. Is replacement director Francis Lawrence, he likes a tripod. Or a dolly.
Right.
So, like, this one, he's the camera shaking all over the place. And I kind of dig it. And the color is super saturated. Mm-hmm. So I think the action is supposed to look clumsy and rough, but I do think there are certain things that probably played better on the page in this movie.
Yeah, I agree. And I was a little surprised with those dogs at the end and how bad they looked.
Yeah, there's some CGI dogs.
How was it? Yeah.
I'm generally against the use of animals in the Hunger Games at all. Because
really?
I don't like the use of monkeys, or baboons, I suppose, in Hunger Games Catching Fire.
Uh-huh.
Keep them out of the Hunger Games.
Yeah. Baboons.
I'm an animal. Babar the elephant. I'm an animal activist, as you know. And, I
didn't know that.
Yeah. I just, I don't like seeing animals in violent scenarios. I wish all bulls murdered all matadors.
Well, I agree with that.
I wish, anytime I hear... I heard a story a couple years ago about like some midget wrestlers, and they had to wrestle a gorilla or a tiger. I think it was a tiger, and the tiger killed all but like two of them. And I felt bad for both the tiger and the midgets. It was like the fight promoter I wanted to see dead.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Sure.
So keep baboons and dogs out of the Hunger Games. That's my plea to the Capitol.
I think it's falling on deaf ears, but I'm with you, brother. Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I looked up makeup and hairstyling. The Oscars. I mean, you know what was nominated? You know what won makeup and hairstyling in 2012 for this Oscars?
Argo.
No, it was that weird Hitchcock biopic with, I think, Toby Jones, who's also in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
And like, get it together. Hunger Games. No one cares about that movie.
Yeah. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Is that with Naomi Watts?
I don't know.
All right.
I never saw that. No one saw that.
The Academy saw it.
The Academy.
The Academy.
Now, let's get this right out of the way. These Hunger Games movies are too long.
Oh, I agree with you on that.
We don't even get to the Hunger Games till after an hour.
Yeah, that's I didn't remember that either. When I'd only seen it once, I was like, holy shit, let's pick up the pace, people.
Let's go. This training goes on a bit.
Yeah.
They're just hanging around. And you know what? The Catching Fire gets the training right. Because it uses that time to let's get to know all the other characters that are going to be fighting in the Hunger Games.
Right.
But in the original Hunger Games, no one gets developed all that well. We're just dealing with Katniss and Peeta.
Yeah.
And like, we're supposed to really be sad when Rue dies.
Yeah. That was supposed to be a tearjerker moment.
Yeah, I didn't jerk my tears.
Me neither. I didn't care at all.
I cared a little, but
I didn't.
I don't know, man.
I think that's the weak spot of the movie where, upon watching this for the second time...
I actually agree, because the beginning, like when the Hunger Games first start, you're like, all right, let's get there. And it's baller. It's bloody right away. It's fucked up. It looks like a war movie. Like, he shot the fucking beginning of the Hunger Games event like it's like D-Day and Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, and that's funny that you brought that up, because I actually made a note when they do the initial selection process. It reminded me of like a Holocaust movie, because they have all these people dressed up in rags.
Yeah, I don't think it's an accident.
No, I don't either. And it's like they're like awaiting selection, know. And I didn't know if that was like. Did you think that was like in poor taste?
No, I didn't.
Mm.
And I'm ready to call movies out for poor taste when it comes to the Holocaust.
Sure.
But I thought it was okay. It's just it's imagery of slaves being forced to fight for their lives, and the first thing that comes to mind when you think of that is Civil War, and the second thing you think of is the Holocaust.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was okay with it.
All right.
I don't know. It's like Starship Troopers does that too, but I'm okay with that also.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah. Now, but I think you're right. The after Katniss starts hiding in that tree, and the Hunger Games starts to go on a bit with not much action.
Yeah. I
lose a little bit of interest for a while.
Yeah. Me too. I would go a little further. I kind of lost a lot of interest, but. And it's funny how the memory, because I've seen all of them, and I just didn't remember this first one having those dull moments. I didn't remember that, and so when it was happening, I was a little surprised at the drudgery that takes place cinematically. I kind of remembered it, which I believe corrects itself in the second movie.
Yeah, I had the movie is too dark problem, like lighting wise, the same way I did with Predator.
That's a big thing with you. Yeah, I didn't think of that.
And I was watching this bad boy on my Blu-ray.
Yeah, I had a Blu-ray of it too. Yeah. Not.
I
don't own it.
I own the first two Hunger Games movies.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
I rented it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I never opened them though. I had these bad boys came out of the shrink wrap this week.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Speaking of Predator, I just saw a note that I had.
Oh, I want to talk about that right now. I know exactly your note.
Go ahead.
When Katniss is bandaging up her leg in the tree, it's exactly like when the Predator does it in the first Predator movie.
No, that was not
what?
my note.
That's not your note?
But that's great. That's a great observation.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
It looks exactly like that. She like sticks a weird like futuristic medical device in her leg to patch herself up. It looks exactly like the Predator.
Didn't occur to me.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking about when probably the most absurd skill. Peeta knows how to bake cakes.
What?
So he knows how to this. Yeah, he knows how to bake bread and decorate cakes. Don't you remember? He says that. Like,
well, I know he does because we see him in his little shop back in District 12.
Yeah, and he says it to her when he like makes something look like mud or rock or something, and she's like, "Oh, how do you know how to do that?" And he's like, "Well, I used to decorate cakes." It's like, what?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he makes his arm, his like, or part of his face look like a piece of log.
Right, and that's what reminded me of Predator. I said Peeta pulling a Predator mud cameo because he's camouflaged in the mud, like under as a rock.
Yeah, in my notes I wrote that he looks like Dana Carvey's the master of disguise. Turtle. Yeah, that's the perfect example of something that probably worked better on the page.
Yeah.
Looks a little silly on screen.
A little silly, yeah. And that he had the time to decorate himself in all of this chaos.
Oh, come on! Yeah, I mean, he's working forever. He doesn't just have the time; he has the parsley, sage, and the rosemary. That's a stupid.
Wow,
joke.
That is a great joke. I disagree. That's a great joke.
Thank you. Listen. I don't know how long the Hunger Games takes. It seems to take forever.
Yeah, it does.
I'd be getting bored. You know, you know how like when I'm really into the Summer Olympics.
Yeah.
You know, by day 13, I'm getting a little bored. It's like that.
You wonder that the audience, you know, yeah, they eat this stuff up. You know,
and it's shot in real time. I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, not this many people are watching the Big Brother live feeds. Surely they have like an hour version of the Hunger Games every day that's a catch-up for these people.
Right, like when they get home to watch their hologram, do they, do they get to like just see, oh, I DVR'd the Hunger Games today, let's see what happened. Maybe not. Maybe it's all, you have to watch the live feed.
I think
that would be very trying.
I think you pay extra for the live feed, and every night there's a 2-hour episode of the Hunger Games.
Oh,
that's my theory.
Interesting.
That's for like hockey fans that like to look up on YouTube, like just the montages of hockey fights.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh,
I think you're right. Yeah,
I do too. I have so many notes that we haven't gotten to, but we've.
Go ahead. I don't have that many notes. It was more of just a visual experience for me. It was not. I mean, what are you going to do with the note? What are some of your notes?
I'll give you one of my least favorite moments in the movie, one of my favorite moments of the movie, and then let's start to wrap up, I guess.
Yeah.
So the script by Billy Ray is a little on the nose at times, and I prefer the scripts in the follow-up movies, particularly Catching Fire. But yeah, I don't know if this was in the book, but at the beginning of the of like when they first bring out Katniss to like be introduced to the world, and Stanley Tucci has the line, "The importance of this moment cannot be overstated." It's like he's just looking at the audience and like, if you've drifted off, pay attention to this part.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I hated that. But I mean, Lawrence is just so great. When when she spots that apple in the pig's mouth
That's
when
cool.
she's doing her training,
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
she shoots the arrow at it, and then everyone looks at her. She gives this curtsy.
Yeah.
And the fucking stank on this curtsy. Oh, baby, I can smell it from here. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's a great moment. I agree.
And I
Yeah.
think she won the Oscar for this year. Like, Lawrence won this year for Silver Linings Playbook.
Right.
I prefer her performance in the Hunger Games.
Really? I wouldn't. I can't say that.
I can't.
It's a little. I mean, her performance is fine, but I mean, it's a little more. It's a little monotone. I mean,
No, I love it. I love Katniss Everdeen.
I think she gets better in the ensuing movies.
I
As
do
Ada.
too, but I think she's like more confident and badass in the later movies. But
Right.
I think it's honestly. Do you remember when I saw Hunger Games? I told you this is going to be an all-time classic film franchise that
I do remember
kids
that.
are going to watch for 100 years.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm curious how I'll feel about the third and fourth movies this time because I didn't like them the first time through on this series, but I really felt that way about the first two, and I do think these movies are great, and kids are gonna watch them for years, teenagers, and I honestly don't hesitate to compare Jennifer Lawrence's performance as Katniss Everdeen to something like Princess Leia.
Okay.
Or even like Indiana Jones.
I mean I get it. That's really not off base. I mean I understand that. She hasn't. I maybe it has reached already that kind of iconic status. I don't know, but I mean I don't think it's quite there yet. But
Great character, great performance. I think it should be there. I think in 20 years when our old friends, the AFI, are updating their stupid best heroes and best villains of film lists.
Best curtsy.
Let's see Katniss Everdeen.
Okay.
Now, so it ends with a big fight. She fights an underdeveloped character because most of the characters other than Katniss and Peeta are underdeveloped. Played, by the way, by Lizzie Kaplan's daughter from Masters of Sex. And
Okay.
Yep. And then we get an epilogue that sets up the sequels. Katniss and Peeta win by faking a love story.
Yeah.
And Peeta's actually in love with Katniss, but Katniss loves Gale, and that's the love triangle of the series.
And they're about to do a Romeo and Juliet, and then they stop them from doing it.
Yeah, and that sets up the sequels. All right, let's wrap up this first Hunger Games.
All right. I have a superhero count.
Wait, what do you give it?
I
I guess you can do superhero count first. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, let's get it over with because I got six.
Can I guess? You got Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique in the X-Men movies.
Yep.
Wes Bentley showed up in the Ghost Rider movie.
Yes.
Yeah, he's the villain of that.
That's right.
Oh, poor Wes Bentley.
4 more.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Banks.
Elizabeth Banks was Betty Brant in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films.
That's correct.
Who else you got?
I got Toby Jones and Stanley Tucci.
Toby Jones played, was it Baron Zemo?
Yeah.
In the Captain America, the first Avenger.
And apparently in the show Agent Carter, he made an appearance.
He did, yeah, that's right.
And Stanley Tucci played the doctor who basically creates Captain America.
Oh, I don't remember that. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my Stanley Tucci in the Hunger Games.
Oh, very nice. And Josh Hutcherson.
Oh, he's in something?
He was voice of the young Bruce Wayne in a cartoon Justice League Unlimited.
Oh, all right. Fine.
But I like this superhero count specifically. I don't say this often, but I like this one because this is kind of when I originated this idea. This is what I was kind of talking about. Less obscure things and much more like you're watching a movie and just out of your head, you're just like, oh, there's Betty Brant from Spider-Man. There's Mystique from X-Men. There's, Zemo from Captain America. And, not so obscure. The point of it was to kind of like show the zeitgeist of how prevalent they are now. But so that was a fun one to do.
Quick survey on Josh Hutcherson. I want to see how you feel. I don't think he's a very good actor, but I do think he's kind of perfect for these movies, tonally, oddly.
I agree.
And so
I agree.
I think it's almost like a Mark Hamill situation.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill, right? Yeah, he's kind of in his wheelhouse, and I don't know the guy if has he done? He obviously, I'm sure.
I saw him host Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember seeing it. I don't remember anything about it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And I forgot to mention the Taylor Swift and the Civil Wars lost the Golden Globe, the only one that the Hunger Games was nominated for, to Adele's Skyfall.
That's a great song.
That is a great song. Say what you will about that movie. Or say what I will about that movie.
Say what you will.
Yeah. But I do think that's a great Bond song.
That's one of the best Bond songs ever written.
Yeah, I'd say probably top 3.
I agree.
With Goldfinger, he's
Definitely.
a man. The man with the Midas touch.
That's possibly the worst Shirley Bassey impression I've ever heard.
I wasn't doing an impression. Now I was making that song my own.
I understand. You owned it.
Yeah.
MVP, LVP.
Oh, right. MVP. Yeah, Lawrence.
I'm going Woody.
Oh, that's a good pick. Woody's great. We didn't talk enough about how good Woody is in these movies.
Well, we'll have a chance. Yeah.
That's true, because he's even better in Catching Fire.
But he's getting my MVP for this one because I thought he was very funny and I like his introduction and all that stuff. And my LVP's going to Lenny.
Yeah, me too. Jesus, stay out of movies, Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah, just go back to pretending to play guitar.
Go home. You got yourself a big dick. You're an okay guitar player.
Nice.
Stay out of movies.
So what are you giving this?
I'm going to give it a nice solid 4.
I thought I was going to give it that, and I'm not. I'm going to give it a nice, solid, strong 3.
Okay.
Yeah. I liked it less than I was expecting to like it, but I still liked it. Yeah.
The Hunger Games Catching Fire comes out a year and a half later. On November 22nd, 2013.
Wow, 50 years to the day JFK was assassinated.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't even know that. Yeah. Look at me.
A budget of $135 million, excuse me. And a box office, 865. That's right, it's the number 1 film of the year.
2013.
And we covered 2013 when we did Man of Steel.
Oh, okay.
Man of Steel was 5. You'll recall Hunger Games Catching Fire was number 1. And right in between there was Iron Man 3, Frozen, and Despicable Me 2.
Okay.
So all franchises except Frozen.
Right.
And these days, Disney animation might as well be its own franchise.
That's true.
Yeah. Now, this was directed by Francis Lawrence.
Yeah.
He's a real McG. He started out as a music video director. Some of my favorites of his music videos include I'm a Slave for You by Britney Spears.
Oh, I remember that video.
Yeah, she's writhing around on the floor.
Yep.
He did Waiting for Tonight by J-Lo.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. He did Bad Romance by Lady Gaga.
Wow, all right.
And obviously the best, before he ever got a chance to direct a franchise movie, he got a chance to direct a franchise music video. That's right, Nod Your Head, Will Smith song from Men in Black 2.
Oh, boy.
Yep. But still, he got to direct Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones in that video. And I think Rosario Dawson, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't remember. Probably.
Maybe even Laura Flynn Boyle.
Oh.
Let's do those Men in Black movies. That might be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. But since then, he's become a fairly reputable movie director, mostly on the strength of these 3 Hunger Games movies.
Yeah, he did I Am Legend.
Which is horrible. We talked about I Am Legend on this podcast. Remember, that's the movie. Around the time I decided I didn't want to go to theaters anymore because some dude called my ex-girlfriend a cunt, and I had to.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good enough reason.
Yeah.
Uh,
He directed the Keanu Reeves John Constantine film.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
I saw it in theaters.
Mm.
It's not as bad as you'd think, but
Because I'd think it would be pretty bad.
it is pretty bad, but it does have like Tilda Swinton as Satan, and that's kind of baller.
All right.
He also directed the Reese Witherspoon movie Water for Elephants.
Oh yeah, I didn't see it.
Me neither. Who saw that?
The Academy.
That was nominated for stuff?
No, I just mean it sounds like it would be.
No, I don't think even the Academy saw that. Maybe the Hollywood Foreign Press Association.
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the best thing I think he's done other than Hunger Games is the television series Kings.
All right.
That's right. Ran for one season. Very good. With, what's the guy? Ian McShane, the great Ian McShane.
Oh,
from
yeah,
Deadwood.
okay.
Yeah. That's an interesting thing. Hey, and by the way, that show is another show that, you don't quite know where and when it takes place.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I never even heard of that show.
Very good. I have it on DVD. His next film after Hunger Games is going to be a thing called Red Sparrow that I think
I see
Jennifer
that.
Lawrence is going to be in.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so I guess she liked working with him.
Yeah.
So that's Francis Lawrence. I don't have too much to say about him.
There's nothing to say,
I've thought
yeah.
some of his movies are okay, and I think by
Yeah.
far the best thing he's ever done is Hunger Games: Catching Fire.
I agree.
Yeah, I think I'm more interested in the screenwriters of this one.
Go for it.
So we're shit canning Billy Ray. Suzanne Collins decides she's not interested in writing the movies anymore.
Yeah.
So we hire Simon Beaufoy,
Hmm.
an Academy Award nominated writer.
I'm looking at him right now. Okay.
He was Academy Award nominated for his screenplay to crowd favorite sleeper hit The Full Monty.
Not one of my favorites.
I mean, I haven't seen it since it came out.
I
know.
never understood the love for that movie.
I liked
Yeah.
it at the time, but it's one of these movies
I
that
didn't.
just like people think is fun. I feel like this happens every few years. Like back then, it was Full Monty and Waking Ned Devine. A couple years later, it was
hated
like
that too.
Little Miss Sunshine and
I
Juno.
hated that too. I hated that too.
Yeah, you don't like fun movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
What is it in Deconstructing Harry? They tell Woody Allen, "You're not a fun guy."
Beaufoy,
I don't like. I'm not into fun. It's not my thing.
Beaufoy, after Full Monty, floundered for a few years, and then he started working with Danny Boyle, and that sort of revived his career. He wrote Slumdog Millionaire.
I hated that too.
Me too. And he wrote a
127
movie that I
Hours,
love,
which I
127
love.
Hours. Yeah. This movie also has a writing credit by Michael De Bruyne. Are you familiar with this guy?
No.
You shouldn't be. It's a real Alan Smithy situation.
Oh.
Yeah. This guy is actually Michael Arndt, one of the co-writers of Little Miss Sunshine.
Oh.
And I don't know why he used a fake name. I'm very interested in this.
Huh.
What, does he have some kind of rep he has to protect? I don't work on YA novels. I work on gritty fare like Little Miss Sunshine.
I see he co-wrote or wrote The Force Awakens.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was involved in Force Awakens. A great movie. All right.
Grr.
Now, no Oscar nominations for this one, but we get another sweet Golden Globe nomination. Song again. It's the song that plays during the closing credits, Atlas by Coldplay.
Turned it off. So
I listened to it. And now, I like Coldplay.
I don't have a problem with Coldplay either.
It's an unpopular opinion to like
Yeah,
Coldplay
it is,
in
but
this
I don't
day and
care.
age, but I still like them. I will say this is a boring Coldplay song.
Okay.
But it lost the Golden Globe to an even more boring song, Ordinary Love by U2.
Oh.
From what was that movie? Mandela?
I don't know. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, U2's a band that really wants an Oscar someday. And they keep trying, and they always use their worst songs for movies.
Interesting.
Like, I mean, Do you remember that song they wrote for the Gangs of New York soundtrack?
I like that song.
That's a horrible song.
I like it.
So they're no good.
Gangs of New York to me is like that's a Henry unimpeachable movie.
Ugh, it's impeachable.
Yeah.
U2.
We didn't.
They're,
Go ahead.
I mean, you know, someone like Bruce Springsteen can convert on this with a song like "The Wrestler" or "Streets of Philadelphia." U2 fall apart, and they won the Golden Globe for this year. And I just want to say, I looked at this category. The Golden Globes got this wrong.
Yeah.
I'll say the Oscars probably got it right. They gave it to "Let It Go" from Frozen. That was like a huge hit.
Okay.
You know, but I'd have gone with "Please, Mr. Kennedy" from Inside Llewyn Davis.
Oh yeah, that's
Remember that
great.
song?
Yeah, great.
That's the one
great.
where they have Adam Driver in the background going outer space. Oh,
That's
I fucking love that movie.
oh my god, I forgot about that scene. That's so great.
It's so
Oh,
great. Yeah.
God, I love the Coen brothers.
Oscar Isaacs, Adam Driver, and Justin Timberlake performing
Oh.
that song is so good.
Check it out, folks, if you haven't seen Inside Llewyn Davis. We'll never be able to cover the Coen brothers, so
Really?
I don't. They're not. What did they ever do that was a franchise?
I guess nothing.
Yeah,
Really?
sad.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about them anyway. Who cares?
Yeah, they'll come up.
But I wanted to mention real quick. I didn't talk about it on the prior movie, which is totally fine. But the workmanlike but non-distracting score by James Newton Howard.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah,
That
who we
that
talked a lot
one
about.
thing is distracting.
We talked a lot about it in The Fugitive because he wrote that score.
That
What were you gonna- what did you say?
The one music cue is used too much.
Oh, it's all constant.
You know the one.
Yeah.
No, 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 no,
Yeah,
no. Yeah.
all the time.
Leave me alone.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's a little it interferes a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So the premise of Catching Fire is Hunger Games All Stars. Now, it's 1 year later. Katniss and Peeta, they're famous, and they're building up a resistance of hope in the districts.
Yes.
And so it's the Quarter Quell, and Donald Sutherland wants to quell this. So he talks to his games master, played by, that's right, Philip Seymour Hoffman in one of his final roles.
The great.
The all-time great.
The all-time great.
One of the 10 best actors of all time.
I agree.
Yeah. And he's great in this movie.
Yeah, he is.
He's just so effortless.
He really is. Like he's one of these guys where you're kind of looking at the movie with all these actors, and you're like, what the fuck are these actors doing in this? But he is just. You're right. He's effortless. He's doing this absurd role in this absurd movie, and he's completely convincing in every scene he's in.
Donald Sutherland is so good in these movies. And then you get a scene, there's like a great scene between Donald Sutherland and Philip Seymour Hoffman, like discussing strategies on how to get rid of this hope in the districts.
Yeah.
And like Donald Sutherland's still great, but Philip Seymour Hoffman owns him.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Well, Donald Sutherland always has had a little bit of a problem with like extraordinary, a little too much gravitas for everything he does.
Yeah, there's a little of that.
And Philip Seymour Hoffman just doesn't. He's just kind of in the role, just doing his thing, and it's just great. You know, he's a master, consummate master.
Boom.
The master.
Oh, good point. Yeah, he's the master.
Yeah.
Now, Hunger Games All-Stars is basically what they do. All the tributes for this next Hunger Games are going to be winners of previous Hunger Games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you'll recall the year I got obsessed with Survivor.
Was that this year? 2013? No, it was before that.
No, it was before that. But you'll remember I got in a bad breakup, and then all I did for months was drink and watch Survivor.
There you go. That's right. All right.
Now, the thing about Survivor that was exciting is I'd never seen it before. I didn't really know what to expect. I watched the first 7 seasons. I fell in love with the show. Then all of a sudden, the 8th season, it's Survivor All-Stars. You're bringing back 18 of the best players from the first 7 seasons to play against each other. And predictably, you got fucking baller gameplay and great characters.
All right.
And that's all the Hunger Games is doing. It's like, we're going to do another Hunger Games, but all the characters are going to be interesting this time. We're going to take care to develop them. Everyone's going to have a fun power or skill.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fun. And we're going to get better actors.
Yeah. I agree on every point.
And so to me, Hunger Games Catching Fire structurally is very similar to the Hunger Games, but it is so much more awesome.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. It is. It's a step up. It's one of those rare sequels that ups its game and really kind of, I think, knew where it misstepped the first time.
I think that's true.
Almost doesn't misstep at all in this one.
Even visually, because Francis
I
Lawrence,
liked it a lot better visually.
Francis Lawrence is using the template of the aesthetic that Gary Ross set up in the first film, but he makes minor changes. He takes away the handheld camera when we're not in the districts and we're in the Capitol or and in the Hunger Games arena. He's desaturating that color and making it prettier to look at. It's really nicely shot. I think, say what you will about, Constantine or I Am Legend or whatever, but he nails it here.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, when we're introduced to these Hunger Games All-Stars, it's like when you're reading like baseball cards or Pokemon cards, where it's like weapon of choice, axe, and it's awesome. It's like these guys are the tech squad. They're gonna kill it. This guy's good at strategy.
Yeah. And you got the great. You also have the great Jeffrey Wright.
Yep, from Westworld. I love Jeffrey Wright. First thing I ever saw Jeffrey Wright in was the John Singleton Shaft film.
Yeah. He is hilarious in that.
Yeah, I remember even like watching the Shaft movie thinking like this movie's pretty boring, but who's this guy? He's great.
Right. Yeah. Yep. No, he is great. He's great in Syriana. He's great in everything he does. Yeah.
He's great in these movies. And you know who else? Talk about underrated. And I don't think it's her fault the same way Wes Bentley
I know what you're going to say.
How about Jenna Malone?
She's my MVP. Spoiler.
She is so goddamn good.
Yeah.
I love Jenna Malone.
So do I.
What's your favorite? How'd you fall in love with Jenna Malone?
Oh, jeez.
Because I'm trying to remember. Was she in The Dangerous Lives of Altar Boys?
I never saw that, so she might be. Let me pull her up because I know I've seen. See, it says she's in Into the Wild, but I don't remember her in that.
She was in Dangerous Lives of Altar Boys, by the way. But I mean, I loved her. I mean, she's so good.
I've seen her in little things. Like I remember seeing her in the United States of Leland.
Yeah, I've seen her in a lot of movies that I didn't like. That she was the best part of.
Yeah. I'm
talking about Stepmom. I'm talking about For Love of the Game. I'm talking about
The Ballad of Jack and Rose.
I never saw that. I'm talking about the unwatchable, except for her, Sucker Punch.
Yeah, and you know what else? She's in the. I think Ben Stiller produced it. The horror movie, The Ruins. Do you ever see that?
I have not seen that. No,
it's excellent.
Yeah,
very good, and she's excellent. And she's also in Inherent Vice.
Yeah, so she's a real Topher Grace.
I don't know
I think Hollywood has failed her.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
But maybe she was in Nocturnal Animals, right? Did she have a part in that? So, I mean, maybe they're cottoning on. And she was in that last Nicholas Winding Refn the film.
Yeah, Neon Demon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't get through that.
And by the way, I totally used to have a crush on her.
Yeah, sure.
And that was reignited in full force when she strips out of that weird tree dress in this movie on the elevator and shows Woody Harrelson and Hutcherson.
The whole gang.
Yeah, the whole gang. And but it's not just sexy. It's like a genuine, honest to goodness, good moment of comedy, which doesn't.
Yeah, it is.
And these movies are fairly dark, so that doesn't happen all that much.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
It is funny.
It made me laugh. Like Jennifer Lawrence's reaction to it is really good too.
Yes, it is. She has the best reaction. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Then there's another long training sequence, which I think is an improvement on the first one. There's that sequence of Jennifer Lawrence, Katniss shooting arrows at holograms.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I think it's a better Danger Room sequence than in any of the X-Men movies.
Ooh, interesting.
That's all it is. They're just doing the X-Men's Danger Room.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, man.
I guess you're right. Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty awesome scene. Yeah.
Now, what else did I love about this movie? We talked about how that was a funny scene. I like the darkness too. The PTSD that Katniss and Peeta experience is really well done.
Yeah.
When Katniss wakes up screaming in the middle of the night, and then she apologizes for waking up Peeta, and Peeta, his only response is, "It happens to me too."
Yeah, that's good.
It's a really nice moment. Or I get them too, he said.
Yeah.
And I think one of the best moments of the movie is the little girl who's underage at this point to fight in the Hunger Games telling Katniss that she wants to volunteer as tribute too, because Katniss is her idol.
Right.
And Katniss has to just stare at her like she can't say no, don't do that. It's the worst.
Right.
It's great.
Yeah, that is great. Yeah, I
but
agree.
Definitely the most satisfying moment in this movie is watching Lenny Kravitz get his ass kicked. He gets a beat down.
I remembered that he got killed, but I didn't remember when, and I didn't remember how. And it's pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want to fly so high like a dragonfly. Actual lyric from that song.
Is that the lyric?
One of them.
Wow.
I always remember that being the worst lyric in that song. Yeah.
I don't think dragonflies actually fly that high, but
yeah, they're pretty much eye level usually.
yeah. That sums up Lenny Kravitz's career. Pretty much eye level.
Yeah. Get lower than that. I don't want you at my eye level. So who else? We talked about Jenna Malone and Jeffrey Wright. Did you like any of the other Hunger Games All-Stars?
I thought the Finnick Odair guy was all right.
Yeah, he's sort of like a better generic handsome guy than Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah. I found a little bit contrived the old lady that he has to cart around with him
I liked
for a while.
it. I liked it.
I got over it.
Mags.
Initially, I was like, Mags. Yeah, initially, I was like, oh, come on.
Now, I didn't look this up, but I believe Mags is played by Cynthia Nixon's maid from Sex and the City.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
Listen, I want to say Peeta is a walking calamity.
I agree.
Holy shit, is he useless in these Hunger
Games? Of
Games?
this guy.
And I gotta tell you, it's his fault that Max is dead.
Yeah. He's just a pain in the ass to everybody.
Yeah, he sucks.
What a helpless fucking guy. Yeah.
My favorite part of the Hunger Games part of this movie. By the way, the Hunger Games start in this movie at 1 hour and 22 minutes.
Yeah.
I
know, but it didn't really.
No,
it was okay though, right?
Better. It's paced better in the first one, but it's just too long. It's too long.
I agree. I agree. Actually, took me 2 sittings to watch this.
I'm not surprised. But
I had to, yeah.
But yeah, the worst part of the Hunger Games is when they they sacrifice the baboons. But the best part is when they all get chased by Stephen King's The Mist.
That was great. Yeah. Yeah, The Mist. Yeah. Thomas Jane jumps out of a tree. And
yeah, it would be great if at the end of this movie, Katniss just had to shoot Peeta, and then all of a sudden the mist subsides.
Staff recommendation. Go see The Mist, people, if you haven't seen it.
Oh, honestly, one of the best movies of the last 15 years.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Frank Darabont's best film. That's right, I said it.
Yeah, okay.
Better than Shawshank.
Yeah, you don't like Shawshank. I'm not going to get into that. So.
All right.
It's a great, great movie.
Yep. So you have anything more to say? Or I'll get to the end.
Go to the end.
No, you don't have any more notes on this movie?
I have not many because it was a pure enjoyment, to be honest. I didn't the plot wasn't really necessary to take notes on, and I loved a all the actors, and I just thought it was a real step up. You know,
that's fair. Oh,
yeah.
Man, I yawned. Is that the first time I've ever yawned on the podcast?
I don't know, maybe. Well, you yawn, I cough. So there you go.
There you go. You belched once.
Did I? Yeah, I belched. Yeah. So there you
go. Now, at the end of the movie, they open up the Hunger Games arena, and it turns out Philip Seymour Hoffman has been working as a double agent against the Capitol. And
that was great. Oh, and wait, we should mention when she shoots the arrow into the dome. That's pretty fucking awesome.
It's a great shot.
Yeah. Literally.
Yeah, it's badass and iconic. Like, I mean, it's you know what it's a little bit like, honestly, like when they blow up the Death Star in
sure.
A New Hope.
Yeah.
Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope.
We have to say that because
Yeah. But here's what I don't like. You asked me about Holocaust parallels before. What annoys me more in movies is Jesus parallels. So when Katniss is lifted up to that helicopter that Woody's on and Jeffrey Wright is there, and she is in that Christ pose.
Yeah.
Not into it.
I agree, man.
It's such a hacky move, and it happens a lot these days. Like,
they fucking did it in Man of Steel, remember?
And in Superman Returns.
That's right. I mean, it's like, come on. I agree, man.
They also did it in, I don't remember which, but do you remember that subway, the elevated subway scene in Spider-Man?
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Tobey Maguire gets elevated by the people of New York.
Spider-Man 2. Yeah.
Spider-Man 2, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
not a fan.
Yeah, I hate that shit.
I agree.
Yeah.
And we should go on the record as saying we don't hate it because it's offending our religious beliefs.
It's just hacky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Then we get to the end of this movie, and I'm getting nervous about 3 and 4. Because PETA has been captured by the Capitol. And who's aboard this ship? Oh, good. They got Gale. Gale's there. And he's ready to catch Katniss up on this resistance and set up the sequels.
Yeah.
I just couldn't care less. Gale, I wish she wasn't even a character in these movies. If you, I know, like some Hunger Games fans, like you know how like there was Team Edward and Team Jacob in Twilight.
No.
Yeah, that was a thing.
I do.
Like in Hunger Games, I feel like there's people that wanted her to end up with PETA and people who wanted her to end up with Gale. And I'm less interested in the romance. Like romance is the entire movie, Twilight. But
yeah, right.
But in this, there's so many other interesting story things going on that like I don't care who.
Yeah, I agree.
Like Katniss makes out with.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's a little. It's almost a little bit also kind of needlessly confusing because it's like you're kind of. It's already interesting to get into her head about the whole politics of what's going on, and then to put this love thing in there, it's just kind of... You
don't need it. It's vaguely sexist, almost.
It's extraneous. Oh, really? Oh, yeah, you mean
Maybe.
It's just like she has to have a romantic interest?
Oh, of course, she's a lady. Right. Did you know that Hunger Games Catching Fire is the first female-led film to top the box office for the year since The Exorcist in 1973?
Oh.
How about that?
Wow, not Alien didn't...
Nope, not number 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
My God.
That's a fun stat.
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, we're left off with Gale, so I'm leaving the theater in a bad mood, but but for the most part, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
What do you want to do first?
Skip the superhero count of people that were in the first one.
I'm
almost every actor is in like every one of these movies, unless
that's
they die.
Right. Yeah, I have two new ones.
Okay.
One of the careerists, I guess his name was Gloss.
Okay.
He's played by a guy named Bruno Mann, and he played Aquaman in Smallville.
How about that?
And
holy fuck! Yeah, I remember that. They were gonna spin that character off into his own series for a while, and then they never did.
Didn't happen.
Yeah.
And he played Aquaman in a cartoon, the Justice League New Frontier.
Yeah, okay.
And I know this other one because I own the director's cut, and she's only in the director's cut of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Jenna Malone. Yeah,
Yep.
I didn't get to see Jenna Malone when I watched that movie.
Yeah, she plays Janet Clyburn.
All right.
Everyone thought she was going to be like Batgirl or something. but she
Another great example of Hollywood letting Jenna Malone down.
yeah, I agree.
She has the indignity of having to be in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, and then she gets cut out of the theatrical release.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
That really does suck. She's my MVP, though.
Okay. I'm going Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That was tough. I could have easily gone that way, too. Yeah. My LVP, someone we didn't even mention.
Who's that?
Amanda Plummer.
Who's that?
She's Jeffrey Wright's buddy in the movie. Still
Oh,
on
I thought she was fine.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that Amanda Plummer always plays crazy. That's her thing because she is crazy, and it just got on my nerves. Just
didn't bother me. Maybe if I knew her as an actress and had seen her do this shtick before, but like I didn't mind her in this movie.
she always does this shtick, you know.
Okay.
Fish King and Pulp Fiction, and I'm not saying she's not good in those movies, but I got tired of it when I see her in this. I'm like, oh, come on.
Okay.
Yeah.
My LVP, I went with Kravitz in the first one. We get a lot more Gale in this movie, and even more going forward. So Liam Hemsworth,
All right.
big
Fair enough.
time. Yeah.
What are you giving this movie?
A 5.
Wow. Yeah. So
I'm
Lethal
giving
Weapon
it
could
5.
get a 5.
No, I'll say that right now. Hunger Games: Catching Fire is a better movie than any of the Lethal Weapons.
Nah, I don't agree with that, but I'm giving it a very high 4.
Okay.
Very high.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's too long. I think if it was shorter, it might have made 5. But
Sure.
it's just too fucking long, man. We're pushing almost 3 hours here. I mean,
Oh, I'm looking at the fucking clock. I really am.
Yeah, I was.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you. Now next week we're covering Mockingjay parts 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Now I did not care for these the first time out, but I'll tell you what. I hadn't seen Catching Fire in like over a year when I saw Mockingjay Part 1, and I think I forgot what was going on.
Oh, okay.
And so now, having just watched Catching Fire and remembering how Jeffrey Wright was introduced and that Finn kid
Yeah.
and Philip Seymour Hoffman,
Yeah.
I predict I'll have a better time watching these movies.
Well, I remember I liked the first part of Mockingjay and remember not liking the last one. So
Okay, maybe that's how I'll feel. Let's
we'll
find
see
out.
what happens. Yeah, I
We'll
don't
see
know.
next week. Check us back. Mockingjay parts 1 and 2.